Now I'm recording. Welcome to a podcast about One Piece. Called Under the Iron Flag.
No.
That one.
Wrong.
Oh yeah, it's not called that. That's the name of the channel. Welcome to the.
You're
we
the
just
one
want
who
to talk
wanted.
about One Piece.
I
It
said I
was in
wanted
fact
to
my
name.
idea.
I wanted to name the podcast Under the Iron Flag, and you said, "No, sir, we have to name it different."
You came up with Under the
Different
Iron
podcast.
Flag, and I was like, no way. That's way too good of a channel name. That can fit so many different series. It's like generic enough, but also memorable.
And yet,
it could go with anything.
And
I have
you
an idea for podcasts.
Whatever. I'm the navigator. Lucian's the vice captain, and then our useless captain.
I'm the captain of the ship.
I'm apparently the peacekeeper this episode.
I'm so upset. It's such a cool podcast name too, but we had to name the channel because we're gonna get past 100 episodes of One Piece. That's what we're gonna do.
Look,
we're
just preparing for the next podcast we're doing.
This podcast is gonna die before we get anywhere.
No.
I think we're gonna get to like maybe.
I refuse.
And then this will fizzle out. I'm not an optimist. Every other podcast I've done has died. So.
Nope. The thing is, we're already 7 episodes at 6. This is now episode 6 or 7. I don't remember. Either way.
I think this is 6.
Probably right. But either way, it's 6 episodes farther than any other attempt at a podcast I've done.
Fair.
So I have hope.
Well,
you both like One Piece enough.
Yeah, I like talking to Lucian about it, actually.
Thanks.
Get shit on?
Wow, okay. Let's see how it is.
Aggro third wheeling.
All he says is, wow, this
now
is
I know
great.
How you feel.
This is good. I like this. I like that. Let's rank it. Let's rank everything all the time. It makes me want to pull my hair out.
We have to rank many things. We have 2 arcs to rank this time, people.
This is how you know that they were 2 short arcs, because it started with an argument for time.
2 short arcs where nothing happened.
That is completely wrong.
Very little of substance happened.
This should be all stuff you love. What the hell do you mean?
We're gonna get into it.
Wait, you don't like it, Inagro? This is like your world building, whatever you wanted.
We're going to get into my complicated feelings.
Okay.
Complicated.
Why don't I recap how we start Reverse Mountain Arc?
Sure.
So we start off, and it's awful weather, right? And all of a sudden, the weather clears up, and it's really nice and beautiful, and the crew's like, "Oh, this is great." And Nami's like, "Hey, wait a second, guys. This is not good. We drifted south. We're in the calm belt." And everyone's like, "Yeah, I don't see what the problem is. This is totally fine. This is a nice change of pace." Until a bunch of Sea Kings / Neptunians, depending on the translation.
Yeah, I forgot about the giant monsters.
You forgot about the 100,000 giant monsters that appeared and lifted up the Mary and sent them flying into Reverse Mountain. So yeah, they just barely escaped the calm belt, crashed basically to the entrance of Reverse Mountain, and then that's how we started our entry into the Grand Line.
It's such a weird segue. Just like, oh, we're entering the Reverse Mountain, and then all of a sudden we're not entering Reverse Mountain, and then all of a sudden we are entering Reverse Mountain.
I mean, I think it was meant to teach us and the crew, why can't we just go south? Why do we have to stay on the Grand Line? Because it's a question, that has been mentioned even by Aggro in the past of like, well, why do you go on the Grand? Like, surely you can just go around, surely this would be more convenient to just go around the Grand Line if it's so dangerous. Which makes sense. unfortunately, there's no winds and a bunch of super terrifying, incredibly dangerous monsters. So not the most
Combo go
viable
around
method.
the world.
I believe it's implied to at this point that we're at. Yeah.
What are my thoughts? I think the most interesting aspect of Reverse Mountain, like before we go into the Grand Line and everything, when we're entering it, is when Nami talks about the currents. Like the fact that Reverse Mountain is a winter island and that the currents, they kind of go below sea. They don't go like above like a beach because it's also the red line. They can't really go up. They have to go down just because of the cold weather. I try to look it up scientifically by what she meant. I didn't really get it. But if I think about it a bit, I kind of get it. It's like cold water and hot water don't mix. It's kind of like oil and water. Like they can't mix together. They have to like be separated. Or they like when something goes from cold to hot really fast, it generates a lot of energy.
Right.
You know, when you boil water, it boils really like you get bubbles and stuff like that, right?
If you take something out of like, if you were to take like a glass cookware out of the oven and put it onto like a cold countertop, it can explode.
Yeah.
You know, break, or put it into the fridge, like explode.
Yeah. And so that's why these like you can actually climb the mountain through the pathway because all this pressure is building up. Not only is the sea crashing into this mountain, but you also have the fact that this mountain is a winter island and the sea is probably a little bit warmer than the winter island weather. And so you get this added pressure of like going up the mountain, and
almost like a volcano, you know?
Yeah. And I kind of forgot that was the explanation that was given. I always just thought the four seas are crashing into this mountain. That's what makes the pressure. But it actually makes more sense when Nami like described the water pressure and cold and hot and all that stuff. When I thought about it a bit more, it made sense to me actually. So I thought that was the most interesting thing about this arc. Other than that, it was kind of just like basic. We come, we solve the problem, and then we leave. You know, learn more about the world, and then we leave.
Whale big. Actually, I did like the concept of they just made a society in the whale, kind of like he's just living in the whale in like a painted room, like the Truman Show.
See, it's funny that your mind goes to that because when the crew goes inside of Laboon, and as soon as I see that island, every time my mind just goes to Dragon Ball and like Kame House. It's just this tiny little island with one house and an old hermit in the middle of nowhere, except in this case it's inside of a whale and on a metal boat to not get dissolved from gastric whale acid. And yeah, I think Laboon as like an environment is super cool, right? Like, who would think of that? Sure. That's such a fun, imaginative idea.
It's his vacation home.
It's place. It's so cool.
Did it say that he was a doctor, or was it just implied? Yes. They said he was a doctor.
Yeah, Crocus says that he has been a doctor for a very long time, and that at one point he was even a doctor on a pirate ship. Like he was a doctor on a pirate ship crew, like way back in the day. Yeah.
I gotta say, reading these arcs kind of makes me nostalgic for the anime because the anime just kind of did it better. I feel like, but not in the sense that like the manga doesn't do it well. I'm still feeling those same feelings, but it makes me want to watch the anime. I remember the jokes. Like probably my favorite joke from Reverse Mountain is when Crocus introduces himself to Zoro and Sanji, and they're like upset at his like serious demeanor, but also he's like, don't hit the cannon, somebody might die. And then they're like, oh yeah, who's gonna die? And he's like, I'm gonna die, obviously.
For me, that still hits in the manga. I think that's still funny.
No, but just the voice acting is so funny. It's just like, and then the zoom out with the anime, but no, it hits hard, and it's just making me nostalgic for the days when I first watched these in chronological order. I wasn't just randomly
rereading it.
Yeah, and especially with Whiskey Peak. When we get there, I'll talk about it.
Mhm.
But what did you think about Reverse Mountain Niagara? You said you liked Laboon, right?
Oh yeah, I like Laboon as a concept, as a location.
Mm-hmm.
As a character, wow, awful,
What?
terrible,
Why?
so boring, super boring, and lame, and unoriginal. Well, he's sad now because he's waiting for Pirate to come home. Sad. I mean, I'm very excited for him to come back and fight on our team at some point in the future.
I'm excited
he
for.
has the logo on his face.
No, see, I am excited for. And I wrote this down. The rematch that Luffy promised him. He said, "Listen, don't die, idiot. We're rivals now. I'm gonna come back when I conquer the Grand Line. I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna kill you, Laboon. I'm gonna come back when I'm the Pirate King, and I'm gonna kill you." And so Laboon has to wait to die until Luffy is strong enough to kick his ass.
We're just waiting till chapter 500 when Kobe, the clown, and riding the whale.
Kobe. Bucky.
Everyone who Luffy has as a rival is all gonna come and riding the whale.
Oh, it's funny you think it's gonna be in chapter 500. That's what's funny.
Oh no. You make a fair point.
You think we got to 1,000 chapters, chapter 500, we got the rematch with Laboon? That's hilarious. You're very funny, Inagro.
You would have to circumnavigate the world to meet Laboon again.
Well,
what did you think about Rafto? Like the reveal of the last island and all the log post stuff.
Oh yeah, I did write that down.
Okay.
Raftel or whatever.
Raftel.
Yes.
Raftel.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have my notes open currently, but interesting. A goal is set to get to Mystery Land.
Yeah, I think this arc is really good at like setting goals.
I don't think, based on the next arc, I don't think we'll be getting there soon. But
no, I really like these two arcs because Reverse Mountain generally like sets up the entire series really well, just like the goals and like how we're gonna get there physically with the navigating stuff. And then Whiskey Peak is really good at setting up the saga that we're gonna go into.
Right,
but we'll go into that when we get to Whiskey Peak.
I really like how much. Like, Crocus gives a ton of information, but it doesn't, to me, it didn't just feel like an exposition dump. Like, it felt more natural because he's like, all right, you know what, you kids help Laboon. You know, he's a friend of mine.
I'll help you guys out.
I'll give you guys a hand. I'll let you know what I know. I've been here a long time. Here's what I know about the Grand Line. And so he explains, like, listen, your compasses, they don't work. There's a ton of mineral-rich islands.
Yeah, that was weird. Interesting.
Well, like, there's so many mineral-rich islands that, like, the magnetism's all screwed up in the Grand Line, right? So you can't use a compass. So because of that, you need a log post to cross the Grand Line. So it logs the destinations and will show you the way to your next island on the route. There are 7 possible ways your log post can be set from the start of Reverse Mountain. And like we mentioned, he also says, you know, the final island that only the Pirate King and his crew have been to, presumably, because it's at the end of, you know, the Grand Line, is called Raftel.
Okay, wait. Do they say the end of the Grand Line?
Well, it's like the final destination, basically. I don't know if they say the end of the Grand Line specifically.
Or just the elusive biggest secret location.
I think it's more the elusive
the metaphorical end of the Great Line.
I think
you go there,
might have
said
everywhere. The end, but I'm not sure. I'll recheck the chapter now.
I mean, otherwise, people could just go on the red line, look behind them, and then see the last island, right? If it's supposedly supposed to be the last island. I mean,
right.
It would be easy to find the last island if that was the case.
The problem is that the graphic they use to show the 7 paths is a little misleading. regarding that, where it
I
looks
feel like
like
Oda just
there are
didn't.
7 paths that all lead to Raftel. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think Oda just didn't know what he wanted to do with that yet, and so he made it as vague as possible,
So
that
okay,
later when he could iron it out.
I have
No pun intended.
I have chapter 105 pulled up, and I have Crocus's quote. This is the Viz version. It's Raftel. It's the last island of the Grand Line, and in all of history, only one group of pirates is known to have landed there for sure. The crew of the Pirate King. Raftel is the stuff of legend. And then
So it's
Usopp
a
asks,
metaphor.
"Is that where the One Piece is?" And he says, "Perhaps no other legend is as tempting, but no one else has ever reached the island." And then Luffy's like, "You mean until we get there?" Which is a great line. But so that's the Viz translation. I don't know what the fan translation is for that, but
Do you want me to try it to say it? I have it here.
yeah, if you have it, I'd be curious to hear the difference.
Okay. I'm just gonna go into the 7 Destination Part 2. This is such a cool graphic as well. Just this whole page is so awesome.
It is a great page.
In this ocean where one can't use any normal means of pathfinding, the log pose represents the only real line. You'll choose one out of 7 magnetic fields to record, which will lead you to different islands. But no matter which island you start with, the paths will all converge into one eventuality, and the name of the very last island one can reach in the Grand Line is Raftel, the final stop in the Grand Line. He doesn't say final, like at the end of the world. The only ones who've ever confirmed his existence in history is the Pirate King and his crew. It is an island of legends. Does that mean? And then Usopp says, "Then does that mean One Piece is on that island?" Then he said, "Who knows? Although that it is most likely theory, nobody has ever reached there to confirm it. Enough thinking. We can see for ourselves once we're there." And then he eats the bones of the fish. I don't even know how that's possible. I choked on a fish bone once.
Yeah, he's Luffy though. It'll just rubber on down.
Yeah, the graphic is very misleading, saying that it's kind of like a race to who gets there first.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel like the fan translation is a little bit better at explaining it. But they all say he says converge into one eventuality. And the name of that very last island one can reach in the Grand Line is Raftel.
Right.
The final stop in the Grand Line. It doesn't say the final destination, the final stop.
It's a literal circle around the globe, right?
Yeah. I mean, you do have to circle around the globe.
And it's a circle. I
love the fog picture of Raftel, but you can barely see it. It's so mysterious and all that stuff. You don't know how many times this panel has been used in theory videos, Nightagro. Crazy amount. Crazy. So, what do you think is on Raftel? Do you think the One Piece is there? What do you think about it? I want your thoughts as a newbie. Give it to me. Give it to me. More than one word, please.
I don't know. I'm thinking. I have not really thought about this.
Okay, Lucian, tell me then.
I have words. I can think for myself probably if you give me a second.
Yeah, I can't theorize because I have too much information.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'd say probably I'm gonna wait. If we go 100 more chapters without okay, actually that's true. If we get to the beginning of the next saga, past the first 1 or 2 arcs, and we're not talking about going there again in the immediate future, as in the next couple arcs, that's where the One Piece is. So give it I don't know how many, 5, 6 more episodes, then I'll be able to tell you if the One Piece is there or not.
Okay, I see what you mean. So you're saying
yeah, this is either a setup for after whatever we're doing here in the Alabast whatever / whatever we're doing with the princess, that island, or it's Endgame. It's one of the two. I don't know which though. We don't have enough information.
That's a good way to think about it. Actually, it's very smart.
If we're introducing it now and it's not going to be dealt with in the next arc, it's not going to be something dealt with in the arc after that either.
That's interesting.
I would ask
Yeah.
Lucian, but he has too much information, and I have too much
I
information.
have read the most recent chapter of One Piece. I cannot theorize on this.
Oh man. Are we done with Reverse Mountain, or is there
I
anything
have
else
a
we want to talk
couple
about?
more things.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, just for me, honestly, and for me personally, I think Luffy and Laboon is probably one of my favorite, just like pure Luffy moments so far. Like, he's not. It's not Luffy being
That was a
great
good
because of his
Luffy
crew
moment.
members. It's not Luffy being great because of, like, you know, uh, uh, it's just Luffy being Luffy, handling things in a way where it makes sense for Luffy to, like, his brain working in his very unique way, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna help this whale. All right, anyway, I'm taking the mast of my ship, I'm sticking it in its head, I'm fighting you, we're fighting, whale. All right, it's a draw, I'm strong, you're strong, I'm not gonna die out there like your stupid friends, so I'll live and be your rival. I'll come back and I'll kick your ass later. Here's our contract. I painted my Jolly Roger on you. Don't bust up your dumb face, Laboon. I'll be back for you. It's just such a great Luffy moment. It's one of my favorites of the series so far. It doesn't require him to, like, play off of a crew member or anything. Everyone just kind of watches in confusion, and then eventually the crew understands what he's doing. And it's great. I love it. I think it's one of my favorite Luffy moments in the series so far.
I don't know why Luffy sounds like a gangster when you describe the event.
And I do have a question for Agro. I'm not sure if you caught this or not, but what did you think about Crocus's final words on the last page of chapter 105? Do you remember them? I have them written out if you don't.
Read them.
So again, this is Viz, Southland. If you want to do the fan one after, go for it.
Okay.
So his final words on the final, his final appearance there on chapter 105 is, could that bunch be the pirates we've been waiting for all this time?
Oh, yes.
That boy has a strange air about him. Roger?
Yeah, okay, I remember that.
Any thoughts on that? Any theories on that?
Probably knew Roger. Did he mention he was on a pirate, like a doctor on a pirate ship?
He did say that. Luffy actually tried to recruit him to become their ship's doctor.
What?
Yeah. Luffy tried to recruit Crocus. He's been looking for a ship doctor. I feel like
he did.
No, he did. He absolutely did.
Not really, though.
He did. Listen, Luffy asked Gaimon to join the ship.
They're never gonna knock it off.
Okay, Crocus didn't join because he's 71, and isn't gonna, like, leave Laboon. He asked him once when he knew he was a doctor, and then he said no, and was like, yeah, whatever. He wasn't dead set on him. He just was like, oh, you're a doctor? Yeah, I mean. We need a doctor. Did he really
try to recruit him?
No, he just was like, you're a doctor. I need a doctor. Join my ship. And he said, no, I'm old. Soon. I'm done with my adventuring days.
Maybe a skeleton man. Or a weird dog creature.
That would be an interesting doctor.
A girl.
A girl.
I plead the fifth.
I don't know the other two. The character named Law, who is probably not the skeleton or the dog, unless I'm wrong.
Law?
He could be a doctor.
And member who I know nothing about, because there are definitely 10 members. And I only know whoever Law is, unless he's one of those three I'm mentioning. Girl, skeleton, or dog.
Girl.
Those are the 10 members of the Straw Hats. 9 of the 10 members of the Straw Hats. I don't know who the 10th is.
I don't think.
One day.
Do we have
you
a 10th
only have to wait
yet?
Like, however many months.
Mm-hmm.
We have a 10th member?
I'm so upset with you. This is my favorite member.
Please don't say this. Please don't say these things.
Oh, okay. I know.
My favorite member.
But
how dare you?
Oh wait, I know the Never mind. Okay, my brain just went crazy. Sorry. Okay, I know. I won't. Shut up. Okay. Is there anything else we want to say about Reverse Mountain?
No, I'm good. We were introduced to Mr. 9 and Mr. Wednesday. They failed to complete their mission.
Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday.
They failed to complete their mission and were nearly assassinated by the Unluckies, and that's where we can leave.
I'm very happy. I was so worried they'd just be those two other guys again. I'm so
Smoker
happy
and
Tashigi.
Tashigi, thank you.
You could tell me their names were Pocahontas and Cinderella. I don't remember their names.
You're gonna know one of them.
Oh, we'll get there. For now, though, I'm very happy they were not that. Those are my thoughts on this arc.
Reverse Mountain.
It's not good. It's the worst arc.
What? I liked it.
My final thoughts are it was super funny. It's kind of funny, and it introduces the main goal very well. That's all I'm gonna say. Well, the Miss Wednesday and Mr. 9, they're kind of there for setup for later and all that stuff. So I kind of gonna ignore that. And I just like how in the next chapter, the Grand Line, the weather is so crazy, and they have to deal with that.
Why don't we go into that? Do you want to start off explaining the next chapter?
I want your thoughts on the end of Reverse Mountain first, and then we can go.
Sure. I mean, overall, I really like it. Like I said, Luffy, I think, is maybe, I mean, not at his best here, but like just on his own, one of my favorite like Luffy arcs so far. Just as far as like, it feels very Luffy. He's like goofy, but does things in his own way, accomplishes things, you know, like even like the gum balloon to prevent the Mary from crashing to be able to enter the Grand Line at the very start.
Yeah, that was fun.
And I think my favorite line from Luffy, just to wrap up the end of this arc, is, you know, Crocus is like, hey, you really want to take those two and go to Whisky Peak? Like, you cannot change your path once your log pose is set. And he's like, whatever. If we don't like it, we'll just sail around again. So yeah, I like this arc a good amount. I don't know. I like Reverse Mountain and I like Whisky Peak. What about you, Saflam? Do you want to start off with the recap of Whisky Peak before we get Agro's thoughts on it?
Real quick, I just want to say, remember when you guys for even a second thought that the whale arc would make for an entire podcast episode?
Did we
say that?
That was you thought of. You were not sure whether or not we should make this two arcs in this episode.
Glad we made it too. I wasn't sure if we should do 3 arcs in an episode, to be honest.
Okay. Probably
no,
not.
I have a lot to say about Whisky Peak.
I think there's a good amount for Whisky Peak, so.
I have very strong feelings.
Uh-oh.
I will recap it, and then we'll get to Inagro's strong feelings in a second.
Yes, go for it.
So Zoro is the best ever all the time, and he's the best ever all the time in this arc. I think that's a good recap. Okay, we can go to...
I'd agree.
Sorry, repeat what you just said.
Zoro's the best ever. Period.
Okay. You went by too fast.
So we enter the Grand Line.
Finally!
And the weather is really trash. Like, I feel like the reason why this is happening, this is kind of just like my theory, my personal thoughts on it, is that because all these oceans, all the 4 oceans are crashing into the beginning of the Grand Line. And so all this like weather, they just can't handle all this crazy like water pressure from Reverse Mountain coming into the beginning of the Grand Line. And so that's why the weather is so crazy in this ocean, just because the circumstances that create it. And maybe that's also why the magnetic poles don't work so well, because there's so many minerals coming from all different types of oceans, and they come and then they make the islands more mineral rich, maybe. I don't know. That just thought came to me when we were talking about it earlier. And then we land in Whisky Peak. It's a pirate-friendly island, but for nefarious reasons. Everybody gets drunk, but Zoro doesn't. And I love that Zoro kind of like picks up the pace where everybody's kind of sleeping, because he was sleeping when everybody else picked up the pace earlier. And he's like, you got to let them sleep. They worked a lot today. I really like that part. And then Zoro basically fights all these people and protects the crew. And then he gets involved in an affair. He gets involved in a conspiracy to murder a spy who happens to be a princess to a kingdom, and then they agree to help her, and they run away and all that stuff. It's just, I don't want to go into details because it's just, there's so much stuff to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But I do really want to see Inagro's thoughts on this, because Whiskey Peak, like I said, it's kind of the introduction to this next saga of the series. Like, what did you think it's like, it's handling its villains better? Do you think it's like all your, like, the stuff you didn't like about East Blue, is it fixing them, or is it just status quo for you?
And also, real quick, just before you start, I just have a quick question.
You go first. I was going to say that was what.
No, I don't want to go first. I want to hear your thoughts on something.
Yes.
Were you suspicious of the town being welcoming to pirates, or did you think because this is the first stop on the Grand Line that they were just? I mean, like in the first chapter,
they're
not
nice.
The second one.
It means they're probably evil.
Okay, I was just curious. Because Logetown, they missed having pirates. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure what your thoughts were. Anyway, go ahead. Thoughts?
Okay, my thoughts are very, very simple yet very complicated. I think this would be by far the best arc. Like, drastically by far and away, the best arc. Unfortunately, you have to have the dumb Luffy versus Zoro fight, so it's the war.
No, it's good.
No, it's not. It's
I
terrible.
thought you wouldn't like it. I thought you wouldn't like it.
Legitimately the worst thing that's ever happened. That's happened in this thing.
I like it.
Series. Like, I cannot describe how much I dislike that fight.
Is it because it's kind of out of character?
It's a misunderstanding. It is a misunderstanding that
oh, you don't like
people try to fix, and then they just don't.
I mean, to be fair, Luffy is kind of like tired from eating all that food, and he just woke up from this long nap.
Oh yeah, but like,
I don't even think so much it's like a tired thing. I think it's just he sees
I would love this
carnage.
If they were both understanding of the situation.
No, but Luffy isn't like that.
Actual reasons.
Luffy is not like that. He's not fighting for.
Then there shouldn't have been a fight.
No. My point is, he sees a bunch of like carnage, right? He says, "What happened? What caused this? You guys were super nice to us." He's very naive. Your friend did this to us. He gets, livid, of course. He's like, why would Zoro do this? And Luffy being Luffy doesn't listen. He just punches, right? That's how he's handled every problem so far. He punches first and talks later, right? It's what he did to the giant whale when it broke his special seat. He punched it in the eye. He shot a cannon at it. This is how Luffy handles his problems. It's not smart, but neither is Luffy. So I would not say that this is out of context. It is obviously a misunderstanding, and Zoro's trying to tell him that. And as soon as, Nami knocks them both on the head, and he relaxes for a second. What is bad?
The fact that a third party had to come in and interrupt. You're gonna have a fight. You don't even have. You don't. I was gonna. You don't even have the confidence to have a winner. You just have to have a third party who is canonically, unfortunately, sadly, Nami has no actual fighting skills or very little in comparison.
No, but they won't hurt her. Is the thing. Like they are both aware that like we don't have a problem with Nami. We're not going to hurt her.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be a comedic moment. And
a little bit. I mean, yeah, but
to be fair, it's one of the funniest moments in the entire series for me. Me and my sister will laugh at that moment for hours. Because there's like a meme in the community where it's like, Luffy versus Zoro, Nami wins. And in the anime, they do it so perfectly where she comes up and they're like gonna beat each other up, and she's like, and they're still fighting each other. And she hits them again because it's like two brothers having an argument. I feel like, and the sister comes in and she breaks it up. I feel like that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, and I really liked how one, she breaks up the fight, and then they're still pulling at each other and fighting. It's just not lethal. And then when they calm down, Luffy just laughs it off. He's like, "Oh, my bad, dude. I thought you were mad because,
Yeah.
I thought they didn't have the food you wanted. My bad, bro." Like, I think in the moment when he saw those people, he was genuinely, like, furious and, upset, like, righteously upset. And then after calming down, he just laughs it off. You know what I mean? But that's just my take on it.
Laugh it off.
Well, he did laugh it off. He literally laughed it off.
I know he shouldn't get to, though. Like, on top of everything else, they then proceed to have no consequences to the fight whatsoever, which should be a big moment.
It's Luffy and Zoro.
I know.
And they're pirates.
They're the main characters. It should be a big moment, and it's not set up well. It doesn't do anything for their characters. The fight's not actually done that well, I don't think.
I like
there's
the
no
fight.
winner.
And I think the purpose of the fight was to show Luffy and Zoro fighting each other with the intent to kill is so strong that as bystanders...
laugh it off.
No, but my point is, them trying to kill each other is not the point of the fight. The point of the fight is to show that they're so overpowering that these supposedly too strong people, right, like these officers of Baroque works, just get brushed off, like completely decimated.
That doesn't work because they're never shown to be strong. They were just told.
The dude can blow up any part of his body. He was destroying everyone in Baroque works.
Does he win a single fight?
Huh?
He beat up
Did I miss something?
He beat up the 4 people that Zoro beat up earlier.
Yeah,
so
he was there to kill everyone.
You're right.
Yeah, because they were sent there not because Zoro was wreaking havoc, but because they discovered there were spies within the organization.
Right.
That's why they were sent
that
there.
Vivi and Igaram had.
I was getting that person confused.
Right, that Vivi and Igaram had discovered
a lot of secondary
identity of the boss of Baroque works. And so they had to go and assassinate Miss Valentine and Mr. 8.
Miss Wednesday.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Miss Valentine is
there's a lot of characters.
Mr. Five's partner. You're right, my bad.
Yes. They are actually my favorite duo out of all of Baroque works, out of all the Baroque works duos. They're my favorite. I love their designs, I love their character quirks, and I love their devil fruits.
I have a favorite Baroque works character who I will mention who it is when we get to them.
Yeah.
You know who it is.
I just want to let you know. I just want to let you know that these two are my favorite. I also love how they're also always humbled in this. Like Lucian said, the point of the fight wasn't that they were trying to kill each other. It was to show how, like, that Luffy and Zoro, that the crew kind of has a chance against this unbeatable organization that's basically going to topple an entire government and a kingdom, and they've like gotten away with all of this stuff because their leader is Shichibukai. Remember what we said earlier about Shichibukai? They work for the government and they don't have a bounty on their head, so they can basically do what they want. And the fact that this guy has used that to his advantage just shows how powerful he is and how smart he is. But I think this fight is here to show, this island in general, it's not only here to set up the antagonists, but also that our crew can take those antagonists, right? This is why I at first I didn't like the fight. Like, I was on Inagro's side, to be honest, but then Lucian went and described like all the dumb stuff that Luffy does, especially in Reverse Mountain, and I was like, yeah, actually it kind of works out. And then it also does double the fact that it's showing us that Luffy and the others can handle this organization. It's not gonna be like it's gonna be a big deal, but they can handle it. It's something that they can handle, and we're gonna be excited for them to.
The fight is then removing tension. They beat people, or they are, almost beating people from it on accident while doing another fight.
But that's just funny to me because it's supposed to be like fights
Yeah,
are supposed to be tension filled and all that stuff, but it's
Yes.
kind of
Every
it's-
other fight is tension filled. This one is
the thing
supposed to be.
Here we go. A perfect example of this is the fight before. Not every fight has to be tension filled because the entire of what 5-chapter long Zoro fight scene.
100 Baroque Works versus Zoro.
Tension in that fight whatsoever, yet it was the best moment in the series so far.
It was great.
Oh, yeah.
It was the best fight.
That is the peak of the series so far. And there's
Agreed.
no tension whatsoever.
Well, I wouldn't call it the peak of the series. It is the best fight.
I would. That fight was my favorite thing in the series so far. I thought that was super well done. It was the first time I've enjoyed an action scene in here at all. I thought it was a really good character moment. Every single the fight continued to progress and get more and more interesting with unique things, like him cutting the hole in the ground, him just
That was really good.
showing up in the middle of the group. Like it never got boring.
I like the scene with the mother and child where he's like, "Yeah, look, I'm not falling for that. I'm sorry, I'm not my captain. I don't fall for this."
It was a really good Zoro stuff,
and it makes
then followed
sense
up with something that I will be going back to. I will be hard pressed to find something I dislike more than this.
I think you were
probably dislike it as much as I do
it.
because it is directly following the most interesting thing that's happened for me in the series.
That's an interesting take.
You wouldn't call the Igarum leaving and then his ship immediately exploding cool. Interesting?
That panel was cool. Already awesome.
It's the best panel so far, I'd say.
Yeah,
probably. I like the stuff afterwards. I'm very interested to see where the arc goes. But the entire time I was doing, that fight happened. It didn't happen. I was there.
What did you think about the whole the introduction of Baroque Works and did they reveal the princess's name yet?
Yep.
I feel like they did.
Nefertari Vivi.
Do you know her name?
I'm going to be hard pressed to remember anyone's name.
They revealed it. I wrote it down.
50 named character.
I took screenshots and stuff.
15 chapters.
Lucian has evidence.
Listen, I take screenshots because I know Aggro doesn't remember.
What did you think about
remembering names?
A member of the royal family of a kingdom infiltrating an organization. What did you think about that? Because I want to know. Because it's just such a unique take on a princess.
It's very unique.
Really?
It's pretty, generic. Which is fine. It's good. Don't get me wrong. I like that trope. It's a very good trope.
Really? That's a trope?
I've seen it like that sort of thing plenty of times.
And what?
Confident princess has to be the one to go do the thing. They have to be the one to go on the adventure.
Yeah, but she's infiltrating an organization that's trying to destroy her country.
We don't know that till after it's over.
What?
What do you mean?
We don't find out about that until she's done infiltrating and her cover has been revealed.
Right, but does that matter?
Well, yes, because then it's not happening. It is a thing that happened. We found out, this boring character is actually not boring. They are a different character than we thought they were. So they're interesting now. It's a character introduction. I like her character. I like where they're going with it. I don't think it's particularly unique or anything, but it's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see where this character goes. I think she has a lot of potential. I assume she'll be around for multiple arcs.
Okay.
We also, by the way, we haven't. We noted that Zoro, faked
awesome.
Being drunk and is great.
Mm-hmm.
We did not mention that Nami faked being drunk. She also did not drink. She was also fake drunk the whole time. She was just waiting for an opportunity to make money.
Yeah.
And so
Very good.
when she had the opportunity, she was like, "All right, deal. We'll protect your princess for 1 billion berries."
1 billion berries. And she eventually gave in for what might just mean nothing.
I mean,
Nami is like always a contestant of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire all the time.
I mean, she had 97 million, so or 93, 93.
It's just like these are teenagers. Nami's 18. Zoro is 19. How can you not like? Are you more tolerant when you're
17,
younger?
and he's 18, I think.
Mm,
I could be wrong.
I think you should look that up.
I'll double check.
I think you're wrong.
Okay.
I do like how active Nami has been in the like piloting the ship and such.
She's basically
she's the navigator.
like,
she's doing her job, whereas Luffy's been sitting around.
You're right.
I do like Luffy
Yeah.
to be clear.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, do you have to be like, if you're younger, does your alcohol go down better? I don't understand that. I don't understand how they can just fake.
She didn't drink
water.
Oh, she just didn't drink?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Zoro just loves alcohol already.
Zoro has a huge alcohol tolerance, for one. And two, Nami does as well. But two, she was not going to let herself get drunk. So she may have had like some actual drinks, but I think she knows her limits very well and will not go past them in an area she doesn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I just wanted to ask that because I don't know how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Should I say my thoughts on the arc? Or...
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Like I said, I'm gushing about Zoro. I think this is the moment that I started to think that Zoro was my favorite character. Because he had that moment with Mihawk, and that was amazing, and all like the fights he's had with people are really cool and all that stuff. But this moment kind of showed how he makes up for what the rest of the crew lacks. Not what Nami lacks specifically, but like that Sanji, Usopp, and Luffy, they all got tricked into the allure of the party and they all went to sleep. But he, instead of like going for money like Nami would, like for selfish reasons, he decided to step up and protect everybody while they were resting, right? And also he's trying to make the least fuss out of the situation. And I thought, and the way he handled it was so funny as well, like how he went into the crowd and he's like, oh God, he disappeared too. He's like looking for himself. And when my favorite part is when they're climbing the ladders to try and get to him, all these bounty hunters. And I don't think they did in the manga, but in the anime, he kind of like teases the guy at the top. He's like,
he pushes
the ladder. The guy's like, please don't, and then he just pushes him at the end. I think they do that in the anime, but not in the manga. I thought that was like, it's just a really funny, really well crafted actions set piece, and it really shows Zoro's strength of being alert, not being naive, like you said with the kid and the mom, and the like, oh, don't hurt us, whatever. And he's like, I'm not naive. Yeah. Like, you can't pull that on me. I think it shows like what his role is in the crew, and it's to protect the unity and protect the not the naivety, but like the innocence, I guess.
Yeah.
Like he's the adult in the room. They don't have to be adults because he is the adult in the room.
It also, I really like how, on the ship, and I think everyone is like, oh my God, Zoro, we need help, man. Like there's stuff going on, bro. We need help, like sail, help us. And he just sleeps, right? Mm-hmm. But then when everyone's asleep, he protects them, right? Like they don't know that. So he takes a ton of flack from them when he's awake. And then completely unbeknownst to them, he protects them, Yeah. And I really like that side of him.
Yeah, I just realized that he does that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the moment where Zoro kind of became like my favorite character. because of those aspects, because he protects everybody when he's not looking for praise for it or anything like that. Like he like when Nami is like, you gotta go, you owe me. Oh, that scene where Nami's like, you owe me, and
Lone
you
shark
can't keep
Nami.
your promises.
She took more from Arlong than I think we thought.
Oh God, that scene was so funny because but it also shows that Nami knows where to push his buttons to make him do what she wants him to do. Like with Sanji, it's easy. She can just tell Sanji, and Sanji will do whatever she wants. But with Zoro, she has to think about it. She has to be like, okay, what can I do to make him do what I want? And then she's like, oh, actually, you owe me. You owe me 200,000 belly. But if you do this for me, I'll what's it called? I'll cross that off the record. I'm pretty sure there's like an SBS way later on that shows like how much each crew member owes Nami in money value. But I don't think she's like, she puts them all in debt so that they stay close to her or something like that.
Yeah,
or like
that makes
be with
sense.
them all the time. But I love how she's like, you can't keep your promises, and that hits a nerve for him because his whole thing is, I keep this one promise to Kuina. And then he's like, you're going to hell, girl. You're going. She's like, yeah, I'll see you there. But I also like that she can make people do what she's also manipulative. Like she learned some things from Arlong, you know. She's not just, you know, she grew up with him, and like it's inevitable that you're gonna learn something from the guy that's basically destroyed your life, right?
Right. I
Like
mean, you might as well learn.
Right. And so I kind of, but it's also kind of Bellamere-ish, maybe a little bit, just the way she does it. But
yeah, and it's not in like a Arlong way where it's like, I'll kill your whole family if you don't pay up. It's like you know, I'm gonna hold this over your head. But
until you do what I want.
Exactly.
And then her slowly realizing that this situation is not this situation is serious, and like there's lives involved, especially with the bomb happening. Like her slowly realizing how serious the situation is. I like that aspect of it. Like Zoro and Luffy are like, oh, this is so cool, we'll get to fight Shichibukai so early in the game, wow, we're so lucky. And she's like, no, this is stupid, I'm leaving. And then they draw the otter and the vulture
them drawing like a the one person's like, oh, nice picture.
It's just, this arc is so funny, and it's kind of like it brings us back to basics of like the comedy aspect, but also the good action aspect, while also putting in this new flavor of like conspiracy and governments and like the serious aspect
leaves.
That never leaves the series. Yeah, it starts here, and it's like it only grows in. And I really but I like that we're sticking to the basics, but we're kind of adding something new.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what else did I think? Let me just look at my notes. Here's a cool little thing that I noticed. If you go, I don't know if you guys have it open on your laptops or anything, but if you go to chapter 108, and sorry, no, not that one. Okay, when Mr. 5 and I don't remember the chapter page or the chapter or the page number, but when Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine confront Mr. 9, Igaram, and Vivi, they're like, we aren't here for Zoro, and they say that, and then the only person who has a question mark is Mr. 9, but Igaram and Vivi have an exclamation point and a question mark. Like,
that's cool, right? Like,
when I noticed that, they're like, oh, they're worried that they've been discovered, and Mr. 9 is the only one who's confused because he doesn't know what's going on, right? I thought that was really cool, and you can't really show that in the anime because it's like a question mark explanation. I really like that aspect of the manga, that you can show who's confused and who's not, and he's really detailed about that kind of thing so far, and this was just one example of those. And then just another little incy bit detail. If you go to chapter 108 on page 6, Zoro enters a house and there's pictures framed in the background. And one of those pictures is the volume cover for the second volume of One Piece, where Luffy's wearing that cool red coat and Zoro's kind of behind him with his swords looking cool.
Oh, really?
It was really, it's really tiny. You can't really see it, but it's when Zoro enters one of the houses when he's fighting all the bounty hunters.
That's cool.
And then, sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I just said that's cool.
Okay. And then the last thing I'm gonna say is I like how, like I said, I like how Zoro is the adult and he took care of everybody, but we learn more about Zoro's days as a bounty hunter and how he was recruited by this organization. Because remember earlier, he's like, "Man, your names sound familiar. Have we met before?" More like that Jack Sparrow of like, "Have I threatened you before?" or whatever. And so I really like that we learn more about his past and how he used that to his advantage of like he knows that there are islands of bounty hunters that when people enter the Grand Line, like these naive pirates, they're like, yeah, we entered, we survived the winter storm earlier area, we survived the whale at the mountain, if they survive all that and then they come to a town and it welcomes them and then they get caught, like they get given to the Marines because of these bounty hunter towns, quote unquote. I like that he used his knowledge to enlighten us and to figure out the situation, what was going on, and not be tricked into drinking until he was drunk.
Right. And it also gave us the best fight scene.
Thing I almost forgot about is the fact that all the little pricks on the cactuses, they're not actually cactuses, they're tombstones.
Oh god, that is the most awesomest scene so far for me.
That is one of the best visuals in the manga so far.
That's super cool.
It's such a cool idea.
It zooms in and you see... I don't know why they're colored green in the colored version. In the anime, they're kind of like grayish. You can't really see them.
The anime does make the area look a lot more suspect because of like, oh, this is a very dark area.
Yeah. Yeah, and those are my thoughts on Whiskey Peak. Definitely, I didn't like it more in the manga or anything like that. I think I like it just the same. I think I prefer Reverse Mountain in the anime, but it just kind of reminded me why I love Zoro as a character, and just like the basic setting up the saga and Princess Vivi and all that stuff. I think my favorite funny moment is when Princess Vivi reveals who the boss is, like not knowing.
Good. It's so great.
No, she's like, the one joke that has made me like. You go.
Go.
I was saying there's the one joke that has made me actually laugh out loud so far in the series is Nami seeing the otter drawing. It's like, oh, you're good. It's oh wow, you're good. And that's it. Then they run away. That is the only that's made me actually laugh out loud. It's very good.
Oh my god! It's just I have to show you the anime scenes for it because the voice acting just makes it so much better. It really does wonders. Like you think, they get the timing and they know these characters so well because they've been playing them for years at this point, and it's just like the fight with Luffy versus Zoro. It's funnier in the anime for me, to be honest. I see your criticisms of it, and I do not like why it's there. But it does serve a purpose, like Lucian says, and it is in character for Luffy to do that. So I think I want to show you those scenes from just the funny scenes from the anime. I think they're done really well. Like I said, I felt really nostalgic reading these two arcs.
I really like this arc overall. I think everything before and everything after is the strongest the series has been. But that fight drags it down so much for me. I know it's probably petty, but it's like my least favorite trope is fights that are not only fights that happen due to misunderstandings entirely, but fights that should be important having no consequences. And no one caring that they happened afterwards. Like Luffy versus Zoro should be the biggest thing ever. And no one's going to talk about it ever again. Probably.
Yeah, it was a stupid fight. Why would they?
The thing is, right? Like they're like brothers.
I get it.
They aren't gonna make a big deal about it because it shouldn't be a big deal.
I think it's pulled off extremely poorly. That is me. I know. I will not get you to agree, and I understand. But
I have
I will be
rose-colored
talking about
glasses.
this for the next 100 episodes of this
I'm
podcast.
sorry. I have rose-colored glasses. That Nami moment is so funny for me. Like I remember me and my sister would laugh about it. Like I'll tell my sister and be like, "I'm watching this scene from Whiskey Peak," and she's like, "Show me," and we watch it together and we laugh for like 10 minutes straight. It's so hilarious. I just love the way the anime does it. Is a lot better. I've been
Also,
saying
like,
that.
I've never found the, like, just the general, or very rarely found the, like, she hit them, so it's funny in the animes and such. Like, it's a common thing, and I'm sure I laughed at one or two, but for the most part, I usually just roll my eyes.
No, but in the anime, they like set it up really well. Like there's a darkness around everybody, and her eyes just appear in the middle, and then she, like she's a monster that's coming to get them, and then she hits them. And she's like, "Stop it!" And then they keep fighting. They're like, they like mumble it. You can hear them. Man, I keep saying that I like the anime more for a lot of the aspects. I think Syrup Village is the only arc where I said I preferred the manga over the anime. Uh, but yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say about this arc or the Reverse Mountain. Do you guys have any final thoughts or more things to say about Whiskey Peak?
Yeah, I have a couple thoughts about Whiskey Peak.
Yeah, go
I one, I love Zoro's like finisher attack. Like he pulls to defend
Mr.
himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
like to defend himself, he throws Mr. Nine at Igorom's like shotgun attack
Yeah, that was cool.
mid-air. And then like throws the body at Vivi and then trampolines off of Luffy to finish off Igaram. It was just such a cool sequence.
I agree with that. It's very creative.
Let's see. Yeah, we got a ton of information. We kind of went over that, like the info on Mr. Five, Mr. Valentine, or Miss Valentine. Like they're there to protect the boss's identity. I really liked Oda's use of the boom boom fruit. Actually, like, you know, the idea of everything on my body is explosive. You know, like I feel like it's almost underused. And just shooting out boogers for like a projectile, right? But imagine if he was like, you know, use the skill set of like a UFC fighter, right? Because he did do like an arm attack where his arm blew up to the nun.
To the nun, to Miss
Monday.
Yeah,
to Miss Monday. So it's like, bro, do that. That's way stronger. What are you doing?
He wears like long sleeves on purpose though, because he doesn't want to blow people up all the time, right? He had to raise his sleeve. Maybe he doesn't learn martial arts because...
Well, if you're in Baroque works, you know, maybe you should be learning to kill more.
They are assassins.
Yeah. That is your job. Maybe kill more.
Speaking of assassins, we haven't talked about Miss All Sunday.
No, we haven't. I was going to get to that.
Okay. You want to finish your other thoughts, though?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I really like how within one arc, short arc, Mr. Nine and Ms. Monday both realize like, oh, all right, well, we're going to be killed anyway. We failed. Let's at least die protecting our friends. You know, screw the organization. If we're going to die anyway, you know, like it is a last minute heel turn, but it felt like it made sense within the context. You know what I mean? Like there are some last minute heel turns where it's like, why did that happen? That doesn't make sense. But that one felt like it worked, you know.
I'm always up for a good heel turn, and that was a pretty good heel turn.
Yeah. So we mentioned, we mentioned that. And let's see. Yeah, okay. So leading up to Miss All Sunday, one of my favorite moments in this arc is actually a Nami moment. As cool as Zoro is this arc, you know, the crew is getting ready to escape after the explosion. And, you know, Vivi's in shock seeing Igaram die, right? You caught the fact that Igaram is like the head of the royal guard, right, Agro? Like that, it did say that in a panel, but did you catch that? Yeah. Okay. I
just didn't explicitly state it. It was implied enough.
No, it explicitly stated it. Okay. It said head of Alabasta Royal Guard.
Oh, that's right. In his little panel thing.
Yeah. But I really liked Nami's like words of comfort to Vivi. She's like, it's all right. We're gonna get you to Alabasta. These 4, they saved the East Blue all by themselves. The 7 Worlds of the Sea, no problem. Like it feels like an Usopp moment almost. Where it's like Nami's terrified. She doesn't. We saw earlier. She doesn't want to screw with the warlords. She doesn't want to go near Crocodile. But because of the crew and because she has to be strong for Vivi, she's able to be courageous. And it was definitely one of my favorite moments of the chapter and the arc, honestly. I really like that.
It's a good moment.
I really hope that Sanji and Usopp do not continue to get sidelined every arc.
Yeah.
I
guess that's gonna be a thing that happens often.
I actually like that it was the original trio that we were dealing with Zoro, Nami, and Luffy. Like dealing with the situation. It kind of felt like early East Blue. I wasn't just nostalgic to watch these in the arc, but I was also nostalgic of the stuff we were doing, Orange Town and
it felt like a parallel.
Yeah, it did feel like a parallel to those earlier chapters where it was just the 3 of them. And then just like them then it kind of reminds you of like how they used to be and how they are now. They're more of a team, they're more of a unit.
Right.
They trust each other more, and I like that it reminded me of that kind of.
I'm always up for like OG group arcs.
It felt too soon.
Like wish that that, and I wish the other 2 had something to do rather than sleep through the arc.
In all fairness, it was a short arc, but I see what you mean.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. Since I also basically slept through the last arc, or might as well, and the arc before that, and they weren't super important in Arlong. They did stuff. Don't get me wrong.
They were
just
important.
Significantly less. Well, they were important again. Just significantly less, which is fine. I'm just meaning, since it is a continuous thing, like in Arlong, they were a good amount of. They weren't the main characters. They were focusing on the main 3, but they were still doing stuff. That was fine.
I didn't think Zoro was that much more important than the other 2 in Arlong.
I do, because of his relationship to Nami. He had a lot more scenes with Nami. And important scenes.
Anyway.
But again, it wasn't a bad amount. I liked that. It was a good amount. But then they followed it up with 3 arcs in a row where they basically did nothing.
Mm.
So I hope that does not continue.
It's
okay for now.
We did meet Miss All Sunday, as Saflan was mentioning. She's the one who blew up Igaram's ship. She claims to be Crocodile's partner, or Mr. Zero.
He's cool. Hello.
And she showed up on the Mary just to have a nice little chat with the crew.
A stand? Or is it psycho, or what is it, telekinesis?
She has a devil fruit.
Is that the... I know.
We don't know what
it is.
We don't know yet.
I know, I'm just more speculating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to guess it's a stand.
Okay.
Because you can't, maybe it could be telekinesis, but that seems way too powerful for a second saga antagonist, who's second in command. Maybe, though. Maybe I'm wrong.
She's also the second.
Most likely.
Just fun fact, I think she's the second person to wear Luffy's hat.
Yeah, you're right, after Nami.
Yes.
Well, I guess technically Shanks.
Yes. I was going to say that, but after Luffy has worn the hat, she is the second person who has technically worn the straw hat. Well, she wears it above her cowboy hat, but...
Yeah. He was pissed.
Yeah, he's like, give it back to me. Oh, she's a good guy.
I didn't like that bit with him.
Bad guy.
You didn't like what?
He got.
Oh, you did like that. Oh.
Yes. I thought it was a good character beat.
Which
is like, hat, done deal, dead.
You know what I didn't like about that scene?
Mm.
Sanji holding a gun
to a woman.
Well, that too. It just everything about that was out of character for Sanji. One, he's using his hands. He's a chef. He has like a sworn oath to only use his feet because his hands are needed for cooking. Two, my least favorite thing about Sanji, he like will never ever ever, oh my god, so help me Lord, I will die before I enter combat with a woman. And he's putting a gun up against her head.
Who least favorite character is. It's a real mystery. I don't know. It could be anyone.
I like him at times. It's just an obnoxious trait.
I think it would be weird to threaten somebody with your leg.
It's Sanji!
How does that work?
That's how it works. It's Sanji.
Okay. At this point,
Zoro has swords. Sanji has legs.
Like,
Luffy has Luffy.
Yeah, but you can use a gun without ruining your hands. It's not a big deal.
My thing is, it's Sanji. Like, I don't like the image of Sanji with a gun. It doesn't make sense.
Later, but for now, it's not strongly established.
I guess that's fair. It's just, to me, like, Zeph was very clear to him, and he was very clear in his arc. I don't fight with my hands. I will only fight with my legs.
Yeah,
my hands are for cooking.
Than a gun.
Is it? Would you not say a gun is... If I shoot someone, is that not part of fighting?
I don't understand Sanji's weird morals.
Listen.
But you know what?
Guys.
He has rules.
I think what happened was Oda realized that Usopp and Sanji slept the entire arc, and he wanted something for them to do, and he wanted to show
what happened.
You're right.
He wanted to show their loyalty, so much so that they don't even know what's going on, but this person is threatening their captain and their crew, and so they're gonna, like, Usopp was even like, "Do you even know what's going on?" Sanji's like, "No, but she's threatening everybody, so
that's fair. That was
threaten her back."
I guess in that light, it's more acceptable.
Yes. And he even says he even recognizes that it's a woman, but he doesn't see her yet.
Yeah, fair. Well, as soon as he sees her face, he starts simping. So
yeah. So I think it's okay in the situation that he does this. And for me, I just don't see somebody threatening somebody with their leg. It just doesn't work for me.
It works for Sanji for me. It doesn't work in any other context ever.
And I think it's also to show like what the Miss All Sunday's devil fruit could be. I think that's why, like, specifically he was.
No, you're right.
100%. That's the reason.
You are right. It's just
he thought it
frustrating,
like pointing the guns at her, and then like the actions before the characters.
So I think, like, just Oda, like, as an author myself, I'm not really like, why write stuff? You have to pick and choose what you're willing to give up to make, like. Do you want to show the mystery of the devil fruit, or do you want to threaten her with the leg? That doesn't really work for me.
No,
so I will make him hold the gun, even if it doesn't mesh with his character well. I'm trying to make it so that he's loyal and he has something to do with this arc, and him and Usopp kind of have a moment together. And I think for me, that outweighs
a new character to take his place. Out of nowhere. There's a new crew member who was.
Oh no! Usopp shot Sanji. Oh god.
Oh no! And then she killed the new member.
Stop it! Both of you, stop it right now.
That's how a filler arc character dies. I know it.
I hate
so, this. we did learn from Miss All Sunday, to get back to what we were talking about. Yes. She intentionally led Vivi and Igaram to Crocodile to leak his identity to them, and then told Crocodile about the two of them.
I wonder why she did that. Like, I kind of like figure why she did that, but like,
what are your thoughts on that, Aggro? Why do you think she would do that?
Maybe he wouldn't take them seriously otherwise. I'm gonna guess maybe she also is the second command of a pirate captain, and so therefore she has many ulterior motives. Like any good antagonistic second in command. Shout out to Zigbar and Sykes. First come to mind.
How about Luke's sword? Come on.
Well, he's like the 10th in command.
I feel like he's second in command in something else, though.
Well, maybe, but let's not talk about that now.
Oh, come on.
later.
You guys talk about Virgil and Dragon Ball Z and all of the stuff that I don't know about.
Well, that's like the biggest spoilers in the entirety of Kingdom Hearts. So maybe not here. We'll have a Kingdom Hearts podcast soon.
What? Really?
No.
No, I don't have enough to talk
Lucian is
about
my
Kingdom Hearts with. I love
over
Kingdom
my
Hearts,
dead
but no.
body.
I listen to like 3 different Kingdom Hearts podcasts, so I'm good.
Yeah.
But back to One Piece.
So, what do you think
Lei
of
has
her in
ulterior
general?
motives, for sure. She's cool and looks cool and is well drawn.
What do you think of her
And
like
has cool
motives?
powers. Oh, I don't have enough information to make any like distinct.
So
I
she
do not
did
have enough
give them like
information
an
about
eternal
what's
pose.
happening.
Luffy crushed
Yeah.
it, but
Again.
do you think that that would have led to where she said, or do you think that it would have been a trap? We don't know either, so I'm just curious what your take on it would be.
I don't. This is one of those times where like I don't have enough information to even wildly guess. They could be 10 billion different things. I haven't narrowed it down to any particular thing yet.
I love how me and Lucian are
let
trying
you know.
Me
You're
and Lucian
trying to like
back you into a
you want to
corner.
hear my theories, and sadly I don't have any. She has ulterior motives, but I don't know what side she's working for. Probably a side I don't know about yet. That's
true.
the most likely option. Maybe trying to take his place. Maybe she's working for the world government. Maybe she's working for Hawkeye. Maybe she's working for Zoro. Who knows? She's Kuina. I knew it.
She's Kuina.
God.
That's gonna come up every time a new character comes. This is gonna
every single time. A new mascot character.
I think there's a little detail where Nami is trying on different outfits in Town in that fancy shop, and I think one of the outfits is the outfit that Miss All Sunday is wearing when we're introduced to her, but it's just a different color. I think so.
That's cool.
Cool.
If you look back, I noticed it when I read Town. I was like, oh, that's Miss All Sunday's outfit.
Huh. I do love that she doesn't have a ship. She has a big turtle.
With the same hat.
Awesome. I forgot about that.
They're matching hats.
Yeah.
Very cool
They're
thing.
twinsies.
With like a lounge couch. She's like chill Mihawk. She's like
she can, like I wonder if she can go through the calm fine.
I mean,
Probably not.
so theoretically, an animal can swim through it. However, presumably the Sea Kings would just eat them.
Maybe.
So unless she's strong enough to kill all of the Sea Kings that attack them, then it would probably be difficult. But you know,
She has the world though.
She could
That
stop
make any
time
sense,
and stay
but-
still.
Yeah.
She's a
Spoilers
stand.
for JoJo Part 3, I guess. But
What do you think of
Yeah.
our next stop? We get a little sneak peek.
Little garden.
yes, it looks like I liked the setup for it. It's
You
a
got
very
a
cool.
cool-
Oh, look at the evil tiger, and then you zoom out to the big footprints next to the tiger.
Mm,
Footsteps need to be bigger, I think.
I agree.
They need to be like
to the
20 times the tiger.
I'm looking forward to the jungle arc.
Jungle. Jenga.
Now, yeah, does anyone have any other major thoughts?
I wanted
on
to say
the arc?
I like Miss All Sunday.
Same.
She's a really cool villain. I love how we don't know her motives and how she's like, oh, I let you go and find his secret identity. I let you guys follow
It's
me.
very
just because
interesting so far.
it's fun, spice things up, I feel like she has a boring office job, and this is how she spices things up by creating conflict.
That's a great read.
I like the chaotic neutral third party or chaotic evil third party. Who knows?
I love how
She
chill
did
she is.
blow up
And
Igaram.
I like how interested she is in Luffy specifically. How she says Monkey.
She knew
D.
his
Luffy."
name. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, Monkey D. Luffy. I've heard about
Well,
you."
I mean, he's on the billion poster, so it's not really a thing. It should be surprising anymore.
Yeah, but that's like chump change in the Grand Line. Her boss hasn't had an 80 million before he became a Shichibukai member.
That's
And
fair.
we
is
don't
4
know
times
how
more
long ago he became a Seven Warlords member. So for all we know,
Mhm.
based on his current, exploits, it could be worth like, a
He's the
higher
first
amount.
one, so he's the
right?
newest and weakest.
He could. I genuinely I don't know what he would be worth. Like if he had a
Well,
current bounty or whatever, but he's a warlord member, so it doesn't really matter how high the bounty is. He's extremely strong, and not just strong, but holds weight. Like obviously he is
4
the head of
times
Baroque
Arlong.
Works.
4 times Arlong. Remember, that's the base. The biggest villain we faced is Arlong, other than Smoker. But the one we've defeated is Arlong. He's 4 times that. I think that's
And
an
Smoker's Navy, so no
Yeah, we can't
bounty there. Yet.
I just wanted to say that I kind of like that we already know the identity of the boss. We know that he's a Shichibukai member. We've dealt with somebody who's related to a Shichibukai member, so we kind of have a baseline for what they're going to be like and their strength and all that stuff. But I like that we don't know what he looks like yet. I like his just silhouettes, and like it still keeps that air of mystery. Like we don't know what, like when you look somebody in the eyes, you can tell their personality kind of. I guess, and it's the same with character work. When you see a character, like how they dress, how they look, how they present themselves, you know that person, but we don't know what Crocodile looks like. And so that the air of mystery is still there. I really like that aspect of it.
So do I.
see Sunday just being Crocodile. That would be a thing. Don't say anything. That could be a thing, though.
Be
You
interesting.
said Miss All Sunday defeats Crocodile?
Could be Crocodile.
Could be Crocodile.
Oh, okay. That's a good, yeah, because maybe
We don't know one knows
We haven't
what
seen
they
who-
look like.
Yeah.
the
So who
good old
knows?
second in command is actually the one controlling
Maybe it's Usopp.
You don't know how relevant that statement is.
Yasop is Crocodile. I will say one like general thought as we're sort of, I assume, wrapping up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I do have one thing to do before we're done, though.
yeah.
When you're done.
I really one like general thing that I just really like about One Piece is that we're not like going all the way back to East Blue. We're told devil fruits are rare. These things are super rare, and we don't see them in the East Blue. Like, who has them? Buggy, Luffy, and
Smoker.
as we get closer to the Grand Line, we get to Logetown. And at Logetown, Alvida and Smoker have them. So the closer we get to the Grand Line, the more we see them. And now we're in the Grand Line, and already Mr. Five, Miss Valentine, Miss All Sunday. So in how many chapters have we met 3 devil fruit users, right? So in 100 chapters, there were 4 users. In 14 chapters, there are 3 new users. I really like that, It's explicitly told to us.
Addicts.
I mean,
user.
you.
The closer we get to the source, the more methods we find.
Yeah.
No, that's a good analysis of the situation.
Yeah, and I mean, when you think of it, right, like even Luffy's fruit was from Shanks. He just stole Shanks' fruit, right? Like, who knows where Shanks found his,
I just have... Einiger, do you want to just say something? Because I also have another general thought.
I'll wait after.
It's more... Okay, fine, I'll go.
My thing is to end.
Okay, fine. I just wanted to say that I really like that we're going into this espionage. It's kind of like a MI6 movie. It's a Mission Impossible movie right now. We're Ethan Hunt, and we have to defeat the big bad guy, right? Who controls all the strings and has agents everywhere. I feel like Oda's really good at taking different genres and making them into this story. Like, it doesn't feel like the story's about pirates right now. It feels like I'm in a Mission Impossible movie or like a James Bond movie,
Mhm.
The whole like the evil
confirmed and leaked right here that Tom Cruise is playing post time skip Zoro.
God.
Oh, if Tom Cruise was gonna play anybody, I don't think I can say without spoiling it. I
was gonna
feel
say,
like I want him to
whoever
play
it's gonna be, I'm sure it's a spoiler.
yeah, I want him to
Yeah.
play like a Marine though, like a Marine in the future. That would be really, really cool.
Kobe.
No, stop it! Stop making fun of Kobe. Kobe's awesome. His cover
He will
story
be
is also
awesome
a lot
Have
of
you
fun.
been paying attention to the
One day
chapter
he'll be
stories?
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happening. They're there. I haven't really been like enthralled, or like I don't remember half the characters, so I'm missing half the.
We were introduced to
context,
an
I feel.
admiral.
We were.
Yeah,
Vice Admiral.
like they seem
Oh,
important.
I'm sorry. You're right,
Don't
Vice
have to-
Admiral. I always got confused with that particular one.
See where it goes. For now, it's there.
And I just wanted to say that I like how you could take this like the first saga of the story is kind of generic, but if you take this saga of the story, it could be like a movie. Like by itself, it doesn't have to have the characters of Luffy and Zoro and all that stuff. It could just be like the plot is a generic Mission Impossible movie, in my opinion. But it's injected into this pirate story so well that you can't tell the difference, right? I just like it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And those are my
Well, then-
final thoughts.
Yeah. Before we leave, Lucian, can you do me a small favor and pull up the cool drive up and list to me our current ranking of the arcs?
Yes. The group ranking.
The group ranking.
Arlong Park. Sorry. Logtown, Baratier, Syrup. Is it Syrup Village? Syrup Village, I think. Orangetown, Romance Dawn.
Where would you two rank in that list? Where would you two rank Whale Arc? I don't even remember the name.
Reverse Mountain.
Reverse Mountain. That's it. Thank you. I completely forgot. Where would you two rank Reverse Mountain?
Okay, I think I want to do like a saga ranking for this one, and then at the end of the saga, we can rank all the arcs together.
That's gonna make that episode like an hour long of just ranking.
We can do a separate episode of we
It's-
wrap up the
no.
saga, and then we
No.
rank everything like
Not
we did
every
last time.
This
We
will
should
take
do it
5
every
minutes.
time.
This will take like 2
No,
minutes. We
remember
cannot
how
do
we
it.
argued about the
I
Syrup
know.
Village and Romance
That's why it'll
Dawn
be
thing?
way easier to do it one at a time.
Hey,
it'll
you
be
want to
way-
do ranking? You got to do it properly.
You
Come
know
on.
that there is a
Yeah,
saga
I
made
am
up of
doing it
5
properly.
sagas.
We're doing it
We
one
could
at a
argue
time.
then.
We're doing one at a time. I am the captain. This is not up for debate. I'm the one who's saying we should argue about it less. This will cause less
I
arguing
hate this.
and less
So,
time spent on the
Where would
ranking.
you two rank Reverse Mountain? Because I know you two are going to put it lower than
Bottom.
me.
Bottom.
I don't know. I don't have the list in front of me. I want to do a saga ranking, but whatever, fine. The Reverse Mountain, it's above Romance Dawn for me.
Okay. For me, it would probably be like, I don't know. I guess below. You know what? It'd be at 4. Screw Syrup Village.
Wow.
Who cares about Syrup Village?
Hot takes incoming. How about you, Inagra? Did you? Oh, you said bottom.
Bottom,
How
but
about
I can
Whiskey
move up to above Romance Dawn.
Okay. How about Whiskey Peak?
Whiskey Peak. I am. Top is Arlong, right?
Correct.
And second is Bratier.
Second is Logtown.
I won that.
You got
Bratier's
outranked.
Third, that's right. Fourth then. Below Bratier.
For me, Whiskey Peak is above Baratier.
Same.
Heh.
I hate you.
It's not a bad
I really-
arc. It's just
Okay.
it's not better than Baratier.
Okay, the reason why I wanted to start from
Or
scratch.
it is
I'm
better than
gonna
Baratier, is what I meant
now.
to say. Apologies.
It's okay. The reason why I wanted to
I'm-
start from scratch for the ranking from this saga is because I actually kind of liked our group ranking summary at the end of the last episode.
I just know, like we said, it would because these arcs will be not at all fresh in our heads, and there'll be lots of them. It will lead to way more time spent on it than doing one at a time. If we do them one at a time and we talk about it, we figure out where we all agree on it, and then it's there.
I say we argue at chapter 597.
And then that
at the end of the overall, we'll argue at the time skip.
Hey, Lucian, read out the current list.
That's the next time we'll argue about arcs is the time skip.
That's gonna be like 3 episodes.
Read out the
arguing.
current
That's
list.
why I want to do it.
No. I can't believe I'm the one on this side of the argument.
It would just be funny to be arguing about, let me count out the arcs. 2, 3,
I'll forget
4,
half the
5,
arcs happen.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 more arcs.
Like 3 months from now. I'll forget that what's happening.
It's gonna be more than 3 months.
So the group rankings are number 1, Arlong Park. Number 2, Logtown. Number 3, Whisky Peak. Number 4, Baratier. Number 5,
should be higher.
Syrup Village. Number 6, Orangetown. Number 7, Reverse Mountain. Number 8, Romance Dawn.
General consensus, average
mostly
of everything.
I'm okay with this. I hope Arlong gets defeated very soon. I have hope.
Are we gonna do the next 2 arcs together, or just?
So that's what we were gonna. That's what I was about to mention. So the next arc is 15 chapters. The arc after that is 25. Okay. So if we were gonna do it, it's gonna be 40 chapters. Whisky Peak, which we just talked about for about an hour, was 9 chapters.
14 chapters over 2 arcs.
So
I think there's enough to talk about in the next arc?
Yeah.
I think
It'll be a shorter episode.
It may be shorter, but like if we do both, it's gonna be like
too long.
Considerably long. There's a lot in the arc after that. There's a lot of lore stuff. There's a lot of
it's too short. We just literally edit together the episodes into one long episode.
Yeah,
later.
I agree.
Okay. All right. I'm good with that.
I think this is a mostly productive episode.
You got to complain for 30 minutes.
I feel like at the end of it, Saplin has a much more negative opinion of me as a person.
No, Inegro, you give good points. You give the subjective, like, you don't like misunderstandings, and that's okay. And we liked it for our reasons, and like Lucian didn't like the Sanji with a gun, but I liked it for different reasons. I like the discussion. I like the argument.
Well, and you bringing up the counterpoint, what made me like, less critical of it. It was like, that I'm more open to it having heard your point. So, it's fun.
Don't hold back your hot takes.
No.
Give them to us. We're going to hate you for
as garbage fire awful trash as they are.
Thankfully, we all know I'm correct, so I have.
Thankfully, you're the captain. You suck, man. Who decided he's going to be the captain? This is the worst.
You did.
Absolute worst. I did decide.
Explicitly, you did.
Much like Luffy, you know the least.
This has been a podcast about One Piece called We Just Want to Talk About One Piece. I think that's what it's called.
The name.
Is that the name of the title?
Yes. You did it.
We Just Want to Talk About One Piece. I had it right. Ha ha. A Under the Iron Flag podcast. I am Iron Aggro. You can find me at twitch.tv/ironaggro. With zeros, though.
You're doing plugins?
Yeah, Saflin.
I have a YouTube channel that I sporadically post on. It's called
Saflam Gangster.
FLM Gangster, yes. It's a very bad name. Every time somebody searches it on YouTube, they find like gangster clips. It's very sad. Okay, that's all. That's me. Lucian, how about you?
You can find me in Iron Agra's Twitch chat. Sometimes, maybe streaming, probably not. But
Sometimes, though.
at Lucian Graves.
Yep.
We'll
see you guys.
And you can reach. Wait, I have got one more plug.
He has the email
the best
plug.
You can reach us at under the iron flag at gmail.com.
Nobody's gonna send us an email.
One day, someone will send us an email. One day. We don't know.
Gonna have to set up an alt to email him and make him feel better.
You could be our first email. I will read it out on the podcast and thank you multiple times in a row. Think about it.
Okay. Wrap it up, Inagra. Wrap it up so I can go eat.
Captain.
Hello?
This is me buying time so I can make a joke.
What?
To end it. I was trying to end with a joke. I got no joke. Goodbye.